As we approach Veterans Day, we remember the sacrifices of military chaplains from all wars. Many of these brave men often risk their own lives for the sake of their band of brothers. The story of Navy Lieutenant Father Vincent Capodanno, who served during the Vietnam War, is one of courage, compassion, commitment, and faith. Steve Kiltonic has the story of the chaplain who was called and chosen.
Staten Island, New York City's southernmost borough, is probably best known for the ferry that passes the Statue of Liberty. Often referred to as the Lost Borough, it is the smallest and most suburban of the 5 boroughs. It's here where Rachel and Vincent Capodanno Sr. settled down to raise their 10 children. Vincent Robert Capodanno Jr., the youngest of the Capodanno clan, was born February 13, 1929 at the family home. The Capodannos, who attended St. Michael's Parish, were typical of the many Italian immigrant families who arrived here in the early 1900s. Brother John Blazer was a mission educator for the Maryknoll Fathers and Brothers.
Staten Island is a very, strong Catholic area. He grew up in a very strong Catholic Italian family. She was very, very religious. I'm sure they went to church regularly. They participated in all sorts of the parish programs.
A grammar school scrapbook Vincent kept reveals a strong sense of patriotism and love of community. At the age of 10, Vincent suffered a tremendous loss when his father died in an accident on his birthday. At Curtis Public High School, he was a class officer, member of the Biology Honor Society, and a counselor in the Catholic Youth Organization. But after his high school prom, Vincent told his mother some unexpected news.
She thought he was going to say, I think I'm in love, I'm going to get married. He woke her up and said, I think I'm going to be a priest.
After high school, Capodanno considered business or medicine as a career, but his strong faith was something he could not ignore. Every morning, Capodanno would take the Staten Island ferry to Fordham University, where he went to school. He would often read the Field Afar, today known as Maryknoll magazine. He was drawn to stories about Catholic priests ministering to people in faraway lands like Japan, China, and Korea, and thought maybe life as a Maryknoll missionary might be his calling.
In those days, Maryknoll was really the only road to be missionary, because we are the official Catholic Foreign Missionary Society. We were founded in 1911. And because we went to China, it was very exotic to go to China, and then it was rugged, which appealed to the ruggedness of the American male.
Located in Ossining, New York, not far from the Hudson River, the Maryknoll Missionary Seminary, with its sweeping upturned roof lines and green and mandarin red colors, reflected a Chinese motif. In 1949, against his family's objections, Vincent Capodanno entered the Junior Maryknoll Seminary. On June 14, 1958, the entire Capodanno family gathered at the Maryknoll Chapel, Mary Queen of Apostles, to see Vincent, along with 47 others, ordain a Maryknoll priest by Francis Cardinal Spellman, the Archbishop of New York. A day later, Capodanno received his assignment at the annual Departure Day ceremony, which included the ringing of the departure bell. Capodanno and several other priests boarded a ship for Taiwan, then called Formosa, to work with the Hakka-speaking Chinese in Miaoli, a remote region in the Western Mountains. In the village of Tunglo, Father Capodanno taught the Catholic faith to the youth, so they in turn could teach others. In 1961, his beloved mother Rachel died. After he returned to the United States, Father Vincent discovered that he was not returning to Taiwan, but was reassigned to teach at a private boarding school in Hong Kong. While in Hong Kong, Father Vincent petitioned Maryknoll Superior General John Comber to join the U.S. Navy Chaplain Corps and serve with the Marines in Vietnam. In December 1965, Father Capodanno received his commission as a lieutenant in the Navy Chaplain Corps. Father Capodanno arrived in Da Nang, South Vietnam in April of 1966 during Holy Week. Here he was assigned to the 1st Battalion, 7th Marines, 1st Marine Division, or 1-7. George Phillips was a corporal with the 5th Battalion, 5th Marines. He knew of Father Capodanno and spoke to him on several occasions. After 9 months, Father Capodanno had developed a reputation with the 1-7.
Father Capodanno, unlike any other chaplain I saw, before or since, went with them on these combat missions, exposed himself, just as the Marines did, He was always comforting the wounded for the Catholics, providing last rites, giving comfort to all faiths, whether they were wounded or dying.
The Marines considered Capodanno one of them and dubbed him the Grunt Padre, an affectionate reference to the Marines in the trenches.
Captain Murray, who was the company commander at the time, said he was kind of a rock star. You know, he was so different.
Philip said Father Capodanno handed out St. Christopher medals to Marines before battle.
Even if we're in the middle of combat, it's like, you know, the old cone of silence came down, and it was like, you know, there was nothing flying around, nothing blowing up, nobody getting hurt. Once you met him, you never forgot him. I mean, his eyes and his whole demeanor it was like he was transformed or something.
Father Capodanno extended his stay in Vietnam another 6 months and was reassigned to the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines as the only Catholic chaplain.
For this is the chalice of my blood of the New and Eternal Testament.
After Mass, Father Capodanno always had time to talk to the Marines and hear confessions. On September 4th, 1967, the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, numbering 178, encountered a North Vietnamese Army regiment of 2,500.
All of a sudden, everything rained in on us. 50 cows, AR weapons, snipers, mortars.
In the battle that would ensue, called Operation Swift, 26 Marines were dead by mid-morning. He immediately hopped on a helicopter to get closer to the action. Saying, "I need to be where my Marines need me most," Capodanno dashed over the hill to help a radio operator, Steve Lovejoy, pulling him away from harm.
Lovejoy had lost his gas mask, so Father gave his gas mask to Lovejoy and said, "You keep it, you'll need it more."
During the firefight, Philip saw Father Capodanno going up and down the hill, dragging people to safety, praying over those who were dying, and comforting those who were injured.
About mid-afternoon, he picks up shrapnel, and he loses 2 fingers, and he gets wounded in the right arm. Doesn't slow him down.
2 Marines were killed trying to take out a machine gun. A 3rd, Ray Horton, was badly injured, shot through the left shoulder. A Navy corpsman tried to help him but was also wounded. Capodanno ran through the field to help both who lay bleeding. To Horton, he said, "Stay calm, Marine. God is with us today."
Had just about reached the corpsman and the Marine, and it just laid down, put his body between the Marine and the corpsman and the machine gun, and took 26 shots in the back, and I instantly died.
53 other Marines involved in Operation Swift were killed and 104 wounded. A memorial service was held for the Navy chaplain, and thousands of Marines came to pay their respects.
They had to take 40 trucks full of people to go to the memorial. They hold about 25, 30 each to go, and that's unheard of. That's how much people loved him and respected him.
Capodanno was interred in the family plot in St. Peter's Cemetery on Staten Island. In 1969, Father Capodanno was posthumously awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor in recognition of his selfless sacrifice. After the war, reports kept filtering in from Marines who knew Capodanno and witnessed his faith and courage.
The anecdotal evidence that Father Capodanno was something special, it became voluminous, and there were even reports of miracles.
In 2003, Archbishop Edwin O'Brien said there was enough evidence to issue a cause for canonization. In 2005, the cause was approved, and a year later, a public decree of Servant of God was issued. In 2013, the Father Vincent Capodanno Guild was established to serve as the petitioner of the cause, with Philip's named chairman. And in 2018, final documents were handed over to the Vatican, which now has the say as to whether Father Capodanno will be declared venerable.
Could be a year, 18 months, could be never. But we think we have a very strong case, and so does the postulator. The most important thing for the Father Capodanno's cause is prayers. And so we ask anybody who might see this to pray that Father Capodanno is canonized.
At Maryknoll are items from Father Capodanno's life: his medals, letters, a cross, and his Bible. Father Capodanno once walked the great corridors of Maryknoll, and no doubt gazed upon the Hall of Martyrs, where the photos of fallen Maryknoll missionaries killed serving in foreign lands can be found. He never gave a passing thought that his photo would one day grace that same wall of heroes, and his name etched on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., along with the 58,000 men who gave the ultimate sacrifice. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonick.
And we have more information on donating to further Father Capodanno's cause for sainthood at iobserve.org. And we wish all vets watching a happy Veterans Day. Please know how grateful our nation is for your service.